Welcome back to Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tift and myself. We have a super, super special guest, but I'm gonna let Matt introduce him because he was all giddy. You should see him in the car. He was like jumping up and down, screaming, grabbing me. I always had to call his mom to tell him to calm down.
I think I was trying to do my own Kenny Wallace impersonation in the car there. Well, no, I'm extremely excited today. We got Kenny Wallace joining the show. It's kind of cool, actually, because we're going into the Richmond weekend. And I really think the first time I got to hang out with her was we were doing, it was my first Xfinity Series year with Joe Gibbs Racing. And Kenny and I were just doing a bit for NASCAR and Fox. And so he's, we're just doing a deal, him showing me around the track because he's won a bunch of times over at Richmond. And I tell you what, he actually taught me a good bit, even though it's just a TV deal on that. But that's pretty cool anyways. But Kenny, welcome to the show. Super glad you're here to join us, and I appreciate you being on.
Thank you for having me, Matt. I'm a big fan of yours. You're a great race car driver. And of course, you became a big news for Men's Health with, your brain issue. And I've been following you, and you look good, buddy, and thanks for having me on.
Well, no, I certainly appreciate that. And I actually wanted to ask you about that because I didn't see it myself first on Twitter. My dad actually told me about it because you publicly went on and you posted that you actually went and got a colonoscopy. Not the most sexy thing ever to go talk about, but
yeah. You're right. You're right.
So why did you put that out there? Because a lot of people in the NASCAR industry know, but why did you feel that was important to put that out there?
Well, when you go way back, I remember when John Andretti came into NASCAR, and we didn't hang out a lot, but I know that Jeff Burton and Kim Burton were good friends with John Andretti and his wife, but John was always good to me. And, I remember some moments with John Andretti. For example, we got done racing at Rockingham in the Cup Series. It was 400 laps. And we got out of the car after 400 laps. And I don't know, we finished in the teens. It wasn't bad. But he looked at me and he says, my Lord, if I knew these NASCAR races were going to be this long, I'd have reconsidered coming and running these races. So I always had a place in my heart for John Andretti. So the reason I announced yesterday that, hey, look, I went and I got my colonoscopy was because when John Andretti died of colonoscopy cancer, they said, hey, look, we have to take this serious. John Andretti's life could have been saved if he would have got a colonoscopy.
Wow.
And so the reason I decided to do that was because the only reason I was getting a colonoscopy is because I get a yearly checkup and my doctor said, hey, it's time for a colonoscopy. And I thought of John Andretti right away. And I thought, if I'm going to do this, I am going to dedicate this to John Andretti. So I was in recovery and I told my wife, I said, here, take a picture of me. And like you said, Matt, it's embarrassing for men, but it shouldn't be. It saves your life. So that's the whole story, why I posted it.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. For myself, we've seen over the years the battles of professional athletes and coming out about different illnesses, whether it's, things like John Andretti went through. And I think, I think people like yourself being such a big personality and a big influence on social media, you don't know if you just save 2 or 3 people's life, man. I mean, that's absolutely awesome. It's horrible, of course, that we lost John to the colon cancer, but I think his legacy lives on within the NASCAR community and really in men's health in the community there of sharing the message of that. And I think that's awesome that you were able to share that. But on a lighter note, I do want to hit on, we talked about this right before we came in. So I see now Keith is a very big baseball fan. We're both big Cleveland Indians fans. We're from the Cleveland area. But I know Mr. Kenny Wallace is about the #1 St. Louis Cardinals super fan there. And I don't know if I'm talking about you or the dude behind you.
Well, this is great because, last year when coronavirus hit, they didn't start baseball until July. Mm-hmm. And they said to try to make, the players feel like there's somebody there. They made all these stand-ups. So behind me is the authentic Major League Baseball stand-up. And when they got done with it, they sent me my cutout. So I get a big kick out of it. It's the real deal. It's got the MLB authentic, stamp on it. And wow. I just thought it was funny to keep it. And, but yeah, hey, on another note, same story. I was sitting down the first base line at Busch Stadium, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago. And I've got a foul ball from one of the Cleveland Indians, very famous name. And I have brain fade right now. But he was a very famous player. And I have his ball somewhere around here. So good for you. Yeah, I think it's great that any fans stay loyal to their team and where they're from. So good for you, all.
Yeah, no, I think we talked about this on our last show of like what it means to be from your hometown, because Kenny, you lived in North Carolina. I'm down here in Charlotte, in the ring here, racing deal with the team and everything now after driving. And Keith and I talked about there's always some. I think there should be some attachment of your groundedness of your hometown in Cleveland. And I know St. Louis the following there, because Randall Burnett was my crew chief in the Xfinity Series, and it sounded like the same thing there. And of course, knowing you and Schrader, that attachment to your hometown there, just on the outside of St. Louis, I think it's so cool for guys like yourself, and then for Keith and I, to no matter where we go, you bring that with you. And I think that's super cool because, fans and people across multiple sports, they know that you're going to be at a Cardinals game, or myself, when I got to throw out the first pitch for the Indians game. And those are special moments because you feel like you're connecting back to the community. But, you have been a professional NASCAR driver, and you've been on TV and you do all this stuff. But yet you're still a huge fan of something that connects you back to home. And I think that's so cool that you still publicly advertise that. I think that's awesome.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's great observation, because Kenny Schrader once asked me, what is your deal with that STO logo on your dirt car? So if you ever look at my dirt car, my race car, on the hood scoop, it's just an STO. It's the St. Louis Cardinal logo. And I said, Kenny, and it's just what you said. I'm just verifying what you said. That STO logo covers St. Louis for me. We're the gateway to the West. We have that beautiful monument, the Arch. We're the home of Anheuser-Busch, McDonald's, Ralston Purina. We have a beautiful zoo. We have so much going on here that St. Louis is just near and dear to me. I had a wonderful childhood. I was your all-American kid. I ran the creeks. You'd find little ponds with minnows in them. I rode a bicycle constantly. My bicycle was my best friend. I made tree houses, and my childhood is great memories. And I love St. Louis. And, St. Louis has never done me wrong. And, I moved to North Carolina to pursue my dream. And I love North Carolina. But St. Louis was always home, and always is home. And that's where I live now. And so that, that's the tie with me, the Cardinals and myself, and they've been good to me. So, and I grew up playing baseball. I played Corey League, and I truly do like baseball.
Right. No, that's
good,
awesome.
Man.
Yeah, no, I mean, Keith's been a big fan, obviously always in baseball, but he played a little bit in the minors himself too. So I think that's awesome that you guys get to, you guys get to connect on that too.
It is cool to talk to somebody who is just, like Cleveland for me means the same thing, right? Like no matter what I do, I always got the C. Doesn't matter. I can't see it now.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where it is. Everybody knows the C. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I mean, I get they're changing their name and everything, but it doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about the C. It's about Cleveland. I don't care what they're going to change their name to. I don't care if they're going to change their name. I don't care. It's Cleveland. It's from the Cavs to the Browns to the Indians or whatever they decide to be next year. It's that sense of pride. I mean, I grew up in Cleveland. Well, just outside of Cleveland, but everybody says here's Cleveland. It's a little dot, but it's not. It's all of Northeast Ohio. Like all of Northeast Ohio claims to be Cleveland, and it's so cool to see like like you know, when I hooked up with you and stuff and we started talking about it, you're like, yeah, I'm from Cleveland, Northeast Ohio. It's like, you know, Peyton Hillis, Northeast Ohio, you know, when he stayed here. It's just, it's funny to know that, like, or to think about how much we've actually contributed to, you know, professional sports with LeBron James and then acting with, you know, we talked about that, the countless actors that come from Cleveland. And of course the music. Cleveland has everything. It's my heart. But then, you know, me and Tyler joke about it all the time. The producer, I said, the Indians are going to be horrible this year, so I got to be a Cardinals fan. I don't have a choice. It's so funny that you're a Cardinals fan.
You're bad. Well, yeah, exactly. And I totally get it. You know, Joe Buck, the voice, you know, on Fox Sports, he explains St. Louis in a good way. He says, we're a big, small town. And I would say that's the same with you. You know, listen, I don't want to be New York City, and I don't want to be LA, and I don't want to be Chicago. I like St. Louis. You know, if it's a flyover state, so be it. If, you know, and I agree with Joe Buck, it is a big, small city. We got a lot going on here, just like you do in Cleveland. And, you know, I love my home. I love my town. And for some reason, you know, just like you said, I just take that STL logo, and you know it's a religion here, right?
That's right.
I mean, it's our Cardinals are a big deal. It's the one constant in the city of St. Louis that ties us all together. We've been around since the 1890s. You know, the Cardinals are the second oldest baseball team. You know, in Major League Baseball, the oldest is Cincinnati Reds, and then us. But the Cardinals one time had an American League team and a National League team. An American League team was, you know, is gone, and now we're a National League team. But, you know, I mean, so I think when you look through history, you know, why is St. Louis such a big baseball town? It is because of its history. It's been around. It was the very first sport here. We've been through 3 stadiums. We had Sportsman Park, which was the first, you know, Busch Stadium, and now Busch Stadium 2. So, you know, I think that's the deal with St. Louis and its Cardinals.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I do want to touch on, I got 2 more things I want to ask you about, but the first one is, obviously, you were a big part of NASCAR for a long time as a driver, as a TV host. And I know you made it out a couple of weeks ago to the Bristol Dirt Race. And I know you're a dirt racer. You know, you go around everywhere. Still to this day, going to local dirt tracks racing, which I think is fantastic. And you know, the racer never leaves you. But, you know, I wanted to ask you about, because you publicly stepped away from being on the NASCAR on Fox sets and things like that to go spend some more time and do what you wanted to do.
Correct.
I think that's very honorable to do that. But I think something really cool, though, is you've still been racing. And I want to ask you, because you are constantly in the grassroots scene nowadays, and you got to go back to Bristol for the Bristol Dirt Race. I know the monsoon came in when you were there, and it was just an absolute nightmare with that. But you know, I want to ask you, because you are the best tie between NASCAR and the grassroots, you know, racing that we have. What was that weekend for you? What do you think that meant for the sport? And, you know, it's a big chance we took for cup cars going on dirt, but what do you think that did for the dirt racing community to NASCAR? Because when I was little, the dirt guys, they'd always be watching the cup races. And then as I got older and older, it seemed like there's some sort of a divide. And to me, we're all race fans. We should be in all this together. But I guess, what have you seen come out of that? And what was your take when you were in Bristol?
I know what I want to say to you, and I'll condense it as much as I can. Sure. So years ago, dirt fans, they loved the NASCAR, loved it. And all the dirt fans and NASCAR, we were all one big happy family. Well, NASCAR lost their way. And Steve Phelps, you know, who's in charge of NASCAR now, he talked about that about 4 months ago during the winter. He said, we're trying to make it right. They know they messed up. And here's what they did wrong. I'm going to be specific. What they did was, say, Charlotte Motor Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway, Bristol. Instead of letting these dirt racing fans buy a ticket to Sunday's race for the cup race, they got a little cocky. They know it. And they said, no, you got to buy tickets for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You got to buy these big packages. And it left a lot of the dirt racing fans out. They became very sour. Then at the same time, NASCAR left Rockingham, excuse me. NASCAR left Rockingham. They left Wilkesboro. They started going to LA, Chicago. And it just sent a message to the dirt racing fans that NASCAR doesn't care about us. Now, let's fast forward. You asked, what did the dirt race at Bristol mean to me? Mm-hmm. It meant that NASCAR was trying to go back to their roots, try to rectify a situation. But most of all, I know the number one reason, we had to reinvent ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we know that Fox Sports, Jacob Ullman, who is the talent scout. So Jacob Ullman, he's in charge of all the talent at Fox. He's the one that hired Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. He's pretty big. Oh, yeah. So he's the one sat in Vegas last year with Mikey Waltrip, and they said, man, we got to do wild, crazy things. We got to do something for NASCAR. It needs a jolt. And they dreamed up that dirt race. Now here's what they didn't know that was a good thing. They didn't realize that, the dirt fans feel like they did something for them. So now, it was good for the sport because it's like the Roval at Charlotte. It's all new. It's exciting. It's different. It's same thing as, going to Circuit of America. Hey, NASCAR is different right now. But by putting that dirt on Bristol, I truly believe it's going to bring back thousands and thousands of fans. What's the number? It could be as many as 50,000 fans could say, hey, I'm going to give NASCAR another chance. And they're all grassroots dirt racing fans that had their feelings hurt.
Right. No, I totally agree because I think like you said, there's a time for me growing up and seeing the giant boom that you went to different markets and things like that. But I think no matter what, you always got to remember where you're coming from. And I think that to me, stock car racing, the best stock car racing you have is tight, close quarters racing, whether it's clean or whether, gets interesting at the end, some bumping and banging. No matter what, that's the entertainment value. I think when you look at Martinsville and you look at Bristol and you look at these last few weeks, it has been fun. And then we go to Richmond and Talladega. Like this is, as a driver, of course, I didn't get to do the Bristol dirt race, but as a driver before and as a team owner now, this is the most fun stretch of the schedule, I think, because we're going there. We're going to a historic race of the Coke 600 coming up, then going to Circuit of the Americas. I truly think this is a fun part of a brand new schedule. And I think it's cool because I think we finally realized for, people like myself, I'm 24 years old, but when I watched that race, other people are texting me about it that are my friends going, what the hell is this? Like, this is cool. Like, why don't they do this more? And, and normally it's just the normal deal of like, oh, what happened this weekend or whatever. And I got so many texts from people who don't normally watch racing that said, that was really cool. And we're talking about this on a Monday, that was the cool part, about that deal. And I agree with you. I think it was cool to see, maybe it wasn't intended, but I hope that connection comes back because to me, at the end of the day, as we're talking about adding more road courses, some street courses, dirt races, NASCAR should be the epitome of the best drivers in North America, but also that are in a stock car that's not meant to go to all these places. So how do you get the most out of your car? I think that puts on a good show. But, one thing I wanted to talk to you about was you were in a big boom in the 90s of NASCAR. And, you've been around for a long time between that and the TV side. What was that like for you to be a driver during the golden era of NASCAR, to go into the TV side? And now, you get to go enjoy and pick your schedule and go dirt racing when you want. How's that transition been? Because I know something that's cool to me is it seems like you're having a lot of fun. So what's that been like for you through the steps of your career to where you are today?
Well, let me answer that first question. I liked it. You said, what was it like being in the golden era? And I'll admit it, there's no doubt. I was in the golden era in the 90s. We made a lot of money. They paid us good. And, I considered myself a C driver. And, what I remember most about the golden era is when we would, like on a Thursday night at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, it was just qualifying. That's all it was. And they would fit easily, they'd fit 100,000 people on there on qualifying night. And the fans back then, cameras were a big deal. Just cameras. Now we have a cell phone, but it was something really cool about the ambience back then, because when, drivers would come off the track and, they'd go through the gearbox, we'd leave pit road, right? First gear, second gear, third gear, start getting up to speed, and the fans would come to their feet and you'd see all the thousands of flashes going off, and it was so awesome. I'm getting chills thinking about it now. But, and then you paid the price too. Later that night, if you didn't qualify good, there was complete devastation. It was like, man, what happened to Earnhardt? He didn't make the top 20. What's he going to do, Because, back then they only locked the top 20 in on the first night. And then the second 20, they decided, you want to stand on your time or go again? So qualifying was a show back then. And we remember when Richard Petty missed a race at Richmond. We remember when Kenny Schrader and Jeff Burton, these great drivers missed races, didn't get the race. So, you felt it. It hurt like hell. And they knew what was on the line. It was incredible time in life. Sandwich Construction Company was a small restaurant, just right outside of Charlotte, and it was like Hollywood. It was like Studio 54, man. Everybody that was anybody was there. It was a glorious time, and darn it, somehow we lost our way. But now that answers that. You asked, what was it like? So now what is it like for me now that I'm retired, living in St. Louis? I'm living my best life. I'm so happy. The reason I moved back here was because I'm such a competitor that I got very distraught. I mean, this is kind of a bummer of a story, and I told this on the Dale Jr. podcast. I was the one. I wanted to be Jeff Gordon. I wanted to be him. I wanted, to be just a little bit lesser, I guess, but I wanted to be. And when I realized I didn't have enough talent to be Jeff Gordon, it was a crushing blow to me. And so Charlotte, North Carolina, the Concord area became very toxic to me. I didn't like it anymore. I loved everybody there. Everybody's really good to me, but I just, it's not good memories for me because I'm too competitive. I'm a nice guy, but I didn't get what I wanted. So I said, to hell with it. I'm out of here. Right. And I told my wife, I said, we're moving back to St. Louis. And we always did have that plan anyway. But that's why I moved back to St. Louis.
Yeah, no, makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're, you being a competitor and you being able to go back home, have fun, do what you want to do on your time, and pick and choose what you want to do. It's got to be so freeing for you. And one thing I want to make sure we hit before we have to let you go is, you're such a big presence, always have been between, being on camera, whether it be race day or, you as a driver interview, or social media. And I want to ask you about this because I think you and I are very similar on the social media front. You do a lot more than I do. But I think something very cool about you is you use social media in a very interactive way. But one of the cool things I really like about you is there's beat reporters, there's fans, and there's people that will beat up on everything anybody does, no matter if it's NASCAR, no matter if it's the world, no matter what it is. Somebody's talking shit on it. And it's going to be just this entire – it's a complete shitstorm, really, of what people see and say and stuff on there. And what I love about what you do is you say, hey, you get a cup of coffee and say, hey, it's going to be a great day today. You do that kind of stuff, and I love it. And I want to know why is that important to you? Because you grew up in an era without social media. You see what happens now and how important it is, but also, you see the toxicity of it too. So I want to know why is that how you handle yourself on social media?
My mom told me once that I was an old soul. And I said, Mom, what does that mean? She goes, you've been here before. And I said, I can't explain myself why I am the way I am. But because my mom told me that, uh, I am the way I am because when I watch somebody get so upset about something, I immediately try to figure out why are they like that. And I've always been like that. Like when I see somebody get out of their race car and run and jump on somebody's car and start punching people, I'm like, oh my God, something happened early in their life. Listen, I get mad too, and I MF people, and I'm hardcore, and I don't want to fight, but I will scrap. But when I see people just, I picture this, right? They're sitting on their couch and they're just talking total junk and they're just demeaning, they're demoralizing other people. It's common. They demean other people because they're missing something in their life. And I know that's psychological one-on-one. Why, you demean people to make yourself feel better because you're missing something. And I try to just stop that crap. Look, man, what do you want? Do you want a cookie? There's no trophy for trashing people. And it's a horrible, horrible way to live. There's nothing wrong with going, hey, the Yankees suck, but that's fun and games. You got to play them. You have to have competition. If you don't have competition, this don't work. You got to
absolutely,
and you got to know you're going to play each other again and again and again. And that's and there's also a toxic saying, and it goes like this: be careful. Competition will kill you. It'll get right here and it take your gut out. So I understand that, and it tore me up. So I try to, help people. Hey, look, man, stop and think about it. What you went through. These people are this upset, and I want to say, listen, you don't have a brain tumor, man. Calm down. Matt Tiff got a brain tumor. He's the one that should be pissed, not you. So these people just need to back it down, and I try to explain that.
Yeah. Well, no, and I appreciate that because I think there's so many people that get caught up with little things, and you see it too. Just if there's a rule change or there's a political thing going on. I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah. It's such a disaster with that stuff. But what I love about how you approach things, and I've always been told that when I was 10 years old, I was 30 when I was 10. I think there's so much to be said, and we've lost it, of course, with the pandemic and things like that. But when we get back to normal, the human interaction, and I think there's so much to be said about that. And you are one of the best people that I've met between both Kennys, yourself and Schrader. You guys have had big impacts in my life because of the way you guys grew up in the sport, the way you guys handled yourselves, and really the lasting impact that had on me, because you can have good and bad influences and mentors throughout your career and the people you grew up. Because when I met you, I was 18 years old and we ran the modifieds down in Florida. And to me, I'm looking at Kenny Wallace as this, larger than life figure. But what's cool about you, and I think how you relate to people so well, is that you are you. And I love that about you, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to say that Kenny Wallace is trying to be somebody different than Kenny Wallace. And I think I've had to learn that over time to be, who is Matt Tiff?
Matt Tiff's somebody who froze because his internet
I've gone through
connection's
the brain
horrible.
tumor deal. I've gone.
We're good. Somebody tried calling me too. I don't want, or they tried texting me. So I'm new. Hey, I'm getting new. I'm getting better at Zoom, but I got to figure out how to make them not call me while I'm doing this. No, I just appreciate what you've done for the NASCAR community and what you've done for the dirt racing community. So where are you going to be next? We're going to be racing, and where can people go buy your merch? Because I saw some stuff come out. Looks pretty good to me. Yeah, well, thanks. Well, we have a new souvenir company that's kicking butt. They're doing good. It's called raceranch.com. So go to Race Ranch or just go on any of my social media. Actually, I'm going to go over to our local racetrack tomorrow night. They got the triple twos. It's like 2,000 to win for each series. Souvenir is going to be there. I'll sign some autographs. But then on Saturday morning, I got to fix my race car, and my dirt car was built by Nick Hoffman out of Mooresville, North Carolina. So Saturday around 11, I'm ready to go. I'm going to take my wrecked race car. We bent the frame on it last week, and we're going to get it fixed Monday morning. But I'll spend some time with my mom. I'll stay there with her. She lives in North Carolina. And we'll be back here in St. Louis, and we'll start it all over again. We just race every weekend. So, stay on any social media channel, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. And I put my schedule out there. So I'll be racing, and I'll be running asphalt too. I'll be running South Bend, Indiana, Berlin, up in Grand Rapids. So I'm excited to do some asphalt racing also.
Yeah, well, you'll have a great time at Berlin. That's one of my favorite places. Well, Kenny, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a lot of fun. And you guys make sure you go follow him on Twitter. If you haven't already, it's a lot of fun. So make sure you go do it. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for having me. I'm a big fan of your show.
Awesome. Well, that's huge. Look at that. I found so basically I want to tell you something though, because I'm a Matt Tifft. Obviously, when me and him got together, we were talking NASCAR, but I'm a new NASCAR fan. So I'm like a baby into all this. So he's teaching me everything he knows, and your name gets brought up constantly. So it's definitely awesome to have a chance to talk to you.
Thank you, guys. That humbles me, and I appreciate you all.
Awesome. We're going to take a quick break, I would assume. And when we come back, we'll jump into some more stuff Matt wants to talk about. He'll make fun of me a little bit. I'll make fun of him, and then we'll end it. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I.
What's up, buddy?
Why are we here?
Because you're getting Tift rolled.
Oh, Tiff rolled. Welcome to a special edition of Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tifft and myself. You're here live and in color?
Sure, yeah.
Oh my God, that's why I hate you. It's been an interesting day. So we got some videos coming at you in the next...
Oh, soon. Well,
soon, right? I mean, next couple weeks. I would say you're going to drop a couple.
Well, you guys know, and have been asking for and bugging me over and over and over again for my Rick Astley Rickroll video. And let me just say that we've been working on some pretty cool stuff.
Nothing about that is cool. Not even in the 80s was that cool. Don't put my Ray-Bans on the floor!
Sorry, my bad.
What's happening?
You brought me here.
I did. So you're in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. We're gonna try to shoot a bunch of stuff this the next couple days, because then I'm off to Florida.
That's right.
And we're gonna do other cool things. But so basically, you're here just to piss me off.
Basically.
Oh no, it's been working too. So first, let's talk about our day together, shall we? So we had a big meeting because you're part of KM Voice. Mm-hmm. Whether I like that now or not. So we had a big meeting. We're doing big things, big expansions, right?
Yeah.
And then I look over, and you have whipped cream on your face.
This is not my fault. So he takes me on a nice date to the Cheesecake Factory, which I paid for at the end because I felt so great that he took me out to it.
Thanks.
And so I gave the waiter a great tip.
You did?
Nice guy. Very nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
Highly recommend him out in, where were we? Crocker Park?
Yes.
Yeah. Great food. I always get the low-carb cheesecake there.
Right.
And normally you think you go to the Cheesecake Factory. It's not the place you have to ask for, plastic silverware. That's normally Wendy's. They forget. It's
Sure.
fine. I love Wendy's, but still they forget all the time.
They do. Now you get a sponsor.
Sponsor us. So at the end, the end of the day, I come back here, ready for snack time, and what's not there, Keith?
A fork.
That's right.
So you used your face.
Well, yes. But first, I used it, and you said you picked up like a piece of pizza, and I sure did. And I always get extra whip with it, extra whipped cream. And
Extra
then,
whip. That was,
extra
dude,
whip.
that was super slangy.
Thank you.
Got that whip.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Just not a car.
Made me mad.
It's just cheesecake.
Oh, no.
So anyways, this thing's falling apart everywhere. I'm trying to scoop and get the whipped cream, and then it's just all over my face. And then all of a sudden, I just made it into a game where I had a little bit of whipped cream. Then I did like the whole, the Joker deal with the where these scars come from, out of the whipped cream.
It was bad.
And
you had
then
it all over.
There's a whole gym downstairs, and Keith was going outside, and he was pacing and talking on the phone. So Tyler, the producer of volleyball, and we went outside, and I put even more whipped cream in my face, and just nonchalantly walked around with whipped cream in my face.
You did actually all over the place, which was cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize that part, to be honest.
So we also got to do something that was cool too, because your Twitter fans are gonna love it. We started the process of the video.
We did.
The
Yep.
video, which is why you look like a douchebag.
The video. Now, I normally do, but today was for a reason.
You don't look like a douchebag, Matt. You look very good.
Thank you. Well, normally I say I look like I'm 12, so do you pick on most 12-year-olds? Keith said earlier he got bullied. Or no, he bullied people in high school.
say that!
Because he's been watching 13 Reasons Why. I then proceeded to give him a hug because I felt bad for him. And then now he goes on to say I look like a douchebag. So I think there's some trauma, some deep-seated childhood trauma that just it's popping up here, Keith. And I know they come with a disclaimer before the show of 13 Reasons Why, but I really want to make sure I take care of my buddy here, Keith. And that's one of the main reasons I came up to Ohio. It's just to watch out for him because I worry about him sometimes, You
do.
And
worry
so
about him.
now you say they look like I'm 12 all the time, and so we're in person. So apparently Keith likes to call 12-year-olds douchebags.
I think you look like you're getting a little heated. Getting red in the face.
I'm gonna pop a button.
Don't pop a cow. No! Your button came out. What the hell's going on with this area?
Why do you keep looking down there? Eyes up here, bud.
Your button's... What is wrong with that shirt?
It's great.
Did you get that at Forever 21 too?
I actually don't know.
Eat a bigger... What the hell? What do you want to talk about?
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
No, last time I went with you on a boat, I ended up inside of a seat.
That's your fault. I
No, it's your fault!
I end up inside of a tire today.
That is true.
Yeah, you'll see that tomorrow before the show about what we're doing today. But so after that, Keith decided to come out Marilyn Monroe style out of a set of tires for no reason to go please our producer before the show. So that was fun.
For one, you said come out and please the producer. Can we change those by any small chance?
Surprise and make happy the producer.
Nope, not better. That is not a better one.
I didn't know where you were going with that at first, but now I see where you went. I'm sorry.
Yep. No, it's okay. It's okay. I just didn't want to. Yep. Are you having fun in Cleveland? Are you enjoying yourself?
I am. Yeah. Well, all right. I guess we do have a show, right?
Do we?
Yeah. But we're gonna get back to what we did today.
Cancel culture.
What?
You got a little nervous on that one.
So he did mention we are expanding. So today we had some cool meetings talking about doing a bunch of stuff now with Cam Voice. So we're expanding the studio. We're going to be going into having a lot of production features here. Keith and I are doing a photo shoot clothed tonight. And
Good. It's sad that we have to add that in, but okay.
well, we're not 500 miles apart, so
Are we not?
the heart makes the distance makes the heart grow fonder or something.
What the hell? You gotta put that Matthew McConaughey book down, bro. You gotta stop reading it.
Green light. Okay, next topic.
Not yet a sponsor.
The book?
The book.
How could the book be a sponsor? I said green light, and you said not yet a sponsor.
Right, the book a book can sponsor?
Wouldn't it be a publishing company?
Maybe. I don't know. No, a book can... Shut up and talk.
Anyways, we're doing a lot of cool stuff. We got like video production. I promise we're actually professional sometimes. Generally when we're both not here. That's why we have to keep things separate. But anyways, so yeah, we'll get into an actual show. How's that sound, Keith?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Okay. Well, today, I didn't ask how you're feeling.
I'm just gonna drink my Fresca, not yet a sponsor.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, that's right. Fresca's gonna... hashtag Fresca.
Yeah. Okay, well anyways, so we do actually have topics we do need to talk about because we do talk about things on the show that aren't weird. and creepy to each other.
Rephrase these things.
Okay. Julian Edelman today announced his retirement from the NFL. He did play over here in Kent State, and he's a quarterback there. Turned into a fantastic slot wide receiver for Tom Brady. I'm not going to look at Keith because he's just going to get all pissy right now. But
I still like him. I just don't.
You said before the show you don't like him.
I know. I said I just don't like him. I'm just not a fan.
You just said you liked him.
No, I said I don't. This is on recording. We will record that.
Okay. Why do you not like him?
Because I don't. This is you tried to do this to me before. Who did you do this to me before with? You said something I didn't like. LeBron James.
Yeah.
He's just a jackass.
Okay, that's fine.
Edelman,
But
I
we're
just
talking about Julian Edelman.
because I'm not a fan of the Patriots. So if you were on the Patriots, I immediately didn't like you.
Okay. Do you like Gronk?
No.
Why?
Because I think honestly, the whole Aaron Hernandez thing and him trying to stick up for him kind of pissed me off.
Do you think he knew that he was a serial killer?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I do. Because if did you watch that on
Yes.
Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when he was talking in the interview, he refused to say anything, anything at all.
Do you think they told him not to?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they did. But still, you don't.
You can avoid a contract to go not say something.
No,
when
but
he's already convicted.
No, but he could have. He could have said it in a way to where he didn't void contracts. Dude, he stuck up for him the whole time. Like he really did.
Do you think Gronk was smart enough to realize that he was doing that?
That's
Debatable, right?
Yeah, that is a tough. Yeah, that's debatable. I don't know.
Well, anyways, so now there's a debate whether, for a slot wide receiver, for the numbers he'd put up for all the years he had with the Patriots, the debate is now, will he be a Hall of Famer? I don't care that Tom Brady was there. I don't care that he's going to be, he's with Bill Belichick. Yeah. Will he be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Okay, so you believe he deserves to be in Canton?
I just don't like him.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't like LeBron James, but he's the best basketball player.
What do
to touch
Julian
the court.
Edelman and LeBron James have to do together?
No. That's my point. Is that just because I don't like the person, you can't take away their skill set. You know, what I mean, you can't say that just because you don't agree with them politically or as a person or what they've done or who they're on, what team they are, doesn't matter. Like Big Ben, yeah, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah,
like,
do I like him now?
No, I don't like him. But that's the thing. I've got my reasons why I don't like Ben Roethlisberger either.
Okay.
But is he going to be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he will be.
All right. Well, another thing I wanted to talk about was I'm going to play a little game, okay, since we're in person.
Okay.
And this is while you're outside. And we thought that we should play a little game where we are going to, or I'm going to have you guess the name of the movie that I'm talking about, okay? Great. And I'm going to describe it to you in the weirdest, most obscure way possible. And you're going to guess the movie, all right?
All right.
I'm going to give you an easy one.
When did we decide this was happening?
When you were out of the room.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm in.
Okay. First one. A national company of bread, a bread spokesperson, goes to national fame. He falls into a drug crisis, has an identity crisis, gets divorced, and has to rise back to fame.
Jesus, I don't know.
Come on.
Bread company?
A bread company spokesperson.
A bread company spokesperson.
Spokesperson gets into trouble with the law over drugs, loses his fame, and then he has a run-in with a cereal company, comes back only to be divorced and then have a struggle to rise back to fame.
I
Yeah, 10 seconds.
I'm taking a loss on this one. I don't know.
Talladega Nights.
God dang it. You've got to be kidding me.
Everything in there I said was true.
You're right. You're right.
Number 2, okay. All right. High school student ends up wanting to make a few extra bucks, wants to get a car. He does this through selling things on eBay, even his family's most famous collectible items. Then robots take over the world, and there's lots of explosions.
Transformers?
Yes.
Okay.
Good
cool,
job.
Cool. Yeah,
Good. I gave you that one.
You did.
Yeah.
Robots take over the world.
Okay. All right. Let's go. I mean, that's fair, right?
That is.
I had to
that
give
is,
you
yeah.
something.
You did.
The first one was a little harder than it needed to be.
It was.
Okay. Last one here. All right. Depressing story. Guy is fairly well off. Sad family story. But there's lights in the sky, and clowns don't like him.
Lights in the sky and clowns don't like him? Mm-hmm. Clowns from Kill. I don't know.
Relatively sad family story. Find some money. Caves.
Batman?
Yeah.
Clowns, one clown. It's one clown. You can't say clowns. It's one.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you can't say clowns. I'm thinking like clowns from outer space or something, like one of those B horrible movies.
All right, we're done with that game. That wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be.
Why? I'm not.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, it's your turn to talk now.
Oh, so now cool. So we talked about Edelman for a second. What about, like, we were talking about NASCAR, PlayStation. We've already done all the, like, our top favorite games or whatever. But did you see that Atari's going to make a new console or is trying to make a new console?
No.
Yes, I want that to happen very much so.
That's cool. I didn't
Yes,
realize that.
because I mean, you were Rick rolled, right, or Tiff? What was I? Tiff trolled.
Tiff trolled. No.
Tiff trolled. I was
Tiff trolled. Whatever. you call it.
Right. I was Tiff trolled. So that was from like the 80s, I'm pretty sure, right? So
Which I will agree. We're like remaking the scenes from this, and I look creepily like Rick Astley. Now, before I was like, yeah, I look like him. Remaking this thing, I'm kind of scared.
you are him.
You told me that I need to ask my mom
You
if
do.
there's a test to be had.
I don't want your mom to get mad at me though, because I like your mom. So maybe we shouldn't talk about that on air. But she might want to sit down and talk with you about a few things. I mean, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. If that happened, I just think you may have been cheated out of some royalties here and there. I'm not sure.
Well, he's never going to let me down, so we'll find out.
All right, so if you could if you could time travel anywhere to any place, where would it be?
Like time travel to any decade and what, like place?
Just anything. If you can time travel anywhere, I guess you could do future, but I would say back. If you could go back in time to any place, any time, where would it be?
You know, this is actually funny because we're talking about different decades and eras and stuff like that.
Sure.
And Jordan, my wife, she just texted me today saying she's rewatching WandaVision today, which is basically what they did in that show.
Yes.
Personally, I would like to go back to the... Can I answer in a couple different ones? Okay. I would like to see the 1950s. I think that'd be cool, just to see like the soda shops and all that kind of stuff.
How they beat women. Yep.
No, not that part. Gosh.
Not that part.
Let me go back to my home. Okay, go ahead. Go hug my wife. I would like to see the 1990s because of the golden era of NASCAR. I would like to see that and see what it was like because I work in the sport now, obviously, but there's no cell phones. There's somewhat cell phones like car phones and stuff, but it's the golden era, the boom, like anything like that would be super super cool just to go see and be a part of that. No social media, nothing like that. So I feel like
amazingness. That's all we want. Just
the
amazingness.
full engagement of the crowd into an event like that. When they had over 300,000 people at these deals, like
300,000 people.
Insane, like ridiculous. The Brickyard 400, the first year they ran it in 94, 95, something like that, I believe. They had 300,000 people there.
Really?
Yeah.
I said I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That's a cool piece.
So I would like to go see that. But yeah, what about you?
Cool. I would go back to when Jesus was there so I could take a picture and all the people who didn't believe it, I can watch them burn in hell. Is that wrong?
I don't think it's wrong, but does does the lithium ion battery work through time travel?
Yes, absolutely. You can take a phone. Haven't you see those pictures where you're like pretty sure that hold on, I gotta pull Tyler, you might be able to pull it up. I don't know. It's like time travel pictures. But like I don't really believe in that whole thing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's a cell phone and like a
Yeah.
What was that? Who are those people?
It pulled up still because I know what you're talking about, but I feel like I've seen a lot on TikTok about this. But let's see, time travel pictures. This is nice. I can actually see what's going on here. Normally, I just have a Zoom lobby.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Ooh.
He's on a cell phone in 1928 in a Charlie Chaplin. Right? Like these are the pictures that mess me up. Like Tyler, if you could pull that up, put it on the screen because this is like these bother me. These bother me really, really, really bad.
Okay, that's creepy.
Like
he's literally on his cell phone.
Right? You can clearly see that that's a cell phone.
While Tyler's pulling this up, so there's basically it's an all black and white picture.
Look at that though.
What's that? I can't see it.
It's a picture. It's a picture from the.
Now, that looks photoshopped, to be honest with you.
You think so?
Yeah. The other one though, the Charlie Chaplin picture, it's from 1928, and he's talking on the phone. That is creepy. Oh my goodness,
dude!
A few of these look photoshopped, but that one.
A few of them, you can absolutely tell they're photoshopped. But like, some of them bother me, like really, really bad.
So talking about Rick Astley and myself looking like each other, they say that you have a few doppelgangers, at least through time. People that look identical to you.
Yeah, but my doppelganger looks like he's a homeless, depressed fish. You got to see. My brother showed me a picture of my doppelganger. It's like getting married or something. Tyler knows what I'm talking about. No, his girlfriend tells him she's pregnant or whatever, and he just looks all upset and pissed off. If my brother's listening, which he's not, I'll have to have him send the picture so you can see who my doppelganger is. It's disgusting.
Well, my sister, from a little bit younger age, she is the spitting image of Helen Keller. Like the spitting image of Helen Keller.
Like the blind, deaf Helen Keller?
Yes, no, legit
Really?
Helen Keller, yes.
That's crazy. So you look... Dude, something's going on
I know,
in your family,
I know.
man. Like, something... I gotta know.
Is that the picture live? Is it up there?
Yeah.
Okay,
This is what we're talking about, though, right there. Well, it's on a 30-second delay, but once you see it, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god!" I don't know. These pictures bother me because like, you were talking about like the Black Mirror and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That is the
that
that's
Netflix
the
show,
modern day version of like the Twilight Zone and
Twilight
stuff like
Zone,
that.
yep.
So when you watch like, I don't know if you're a big X-Files fan or not, but I am.
I haven't
huge.
seen it.
You haven't seen the X-Files?
I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
You need all the seasons are good, but like when you're looking at like scary stuff like that, like it's just unexplained. You can't explain it. So when you see pictures like that, people are like, "Oh, it's photoshopped. It's photoshopped." But I'm telling you.
Yeah. Okay. So look at this guy.
This is another one.
Oh, this is a different one.
Yeah.
Isn't that a zebra though? That looks like a cartoon.
No, get out of here. It's him. He.
Oh,
Right
that
there.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's talking on a phone. How could he be talking on a phone in 1920?
That's what I'm
He
saying.
said like rotary phones, and that one looks legit. Too.
Even rotary phones weren't
There's like
that
40s,
big. You know what I
50s,
mean? Like, yeah, you didn't have anybody walking around with stuff like this. But I listened to a show called Coast to Coast.
Oh, I used to love that show.
Love that
it's
show.
on WTM 1100. late
Yes,
at night.
it was,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. We still listen. It's still on.
Okay, nice.
It's just not Art anymore. Now they moved a bunch of different people.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
he does.
because this show, I used to have a radio next to my nightstand.
Your race
there.
car bed?
Yeah, I actually did have a race car bed when I was little. Good guess. Thanks.
Wasn't that hard to figure out?
But no, screw you. Would you sleep in a baseball mitt?
A baseball mitt? Maybe I did.
And so they would play the show like after what, midnight, something like that?
Yeah, actually. Well, yeah, because it's east of the Rockies, so
Yep,
it'd been,
you're right.
it'd
Yep.
been midnight.
And so they would play the show and talk about like UFOs and time travelers and people who would say that they'd been abducted by aliens. And
Yeah.
people who said, because we were talking about aliens the other week, but they said they'd be abducted by UFOs, see aliens, go through time travel, do all this
dude.
weird stuff. That show, I've never done drugs, okay? But if I had taken something, I would be seriously tripping out.
Dude, I remember. So again, I used to listen to it when I was younger too. But when I was listening to it, Art was there.
Yeah.
Since I think he passed away, honestly. But the other guy that took it over, George Norrie, yeah, he does a lot with Ancient Aliens on the Discovery Channel or History Channel. I'm sorry, but dude, like, because I was a big X-Files geek when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because it would scare the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be scared. So then you would turn around and listen to that, dude. There was some things on there that literally I had to like turn off. You know what I mean? Like, I
I'd have
can't
to
listen
turn
to this right
normal
now.
radio just to go to sleep, honestly.
Yeah, or some comedy show, like, you know, afterwards. But I mean, it was just like those things when you're watching them or paying attention to them or whatever. Like the unexplained intrigues me to the point where like then I start diving down rabbit holes, and I'm like, okay, how could this have happened? Is time travel even possible? And I don't really believe it is. But
It
like
makes you
some
wonder.
things
Yeah.
are hard to like place. Do you know what I mean? Especially like, and again, I don't believe in aliens. I believe they're interdimensional or whatever. I don't know. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
But like, you
said,
know something's
when I said
there.
that, you said that was a bunch of bullshit.
No, interdimensional. I believe they're demons, though. Like, I don't believe that they're like.
I'm with you there, but you
Yeah.
said when I talked about interdimensional and that you have different, like, there's different versions or planes of yourself, you said that was BS.
I don't believe there's different planes of yourself. I believe there's one you, just different dimension.
Okay.
Like, I don't think there's a parallel universe or like a. What do they call it? Not the parallel universe, but the doppelgangers. I don't believe there's an actual. I believe people look like
Yeah,
you.
well, because there's only so many genetic codes to where they're going to copy something eventually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're gonna see something.
Yeah.
A lot. You'll
Yeah.
see it. So like when I think of
That's
like,
true for voices, too.
is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
Really?
they always say you have one, your voice is unique as well. But they say that if you go back in records, like since they've been recording voices, there is a voice doppelganger as well to sound exactly like you, which makes sense.
The only thing is, I believe it too. I believe it. Actually, you want to talk about voices and recording stuff? When I was listening to Coast to Coast, this was 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah. That would have been the same time I was listening to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
So you listened to it when you were young, like
middle school.
yeah, I was the same, like young. Yeah. All right, guys, that's about it.
Guys,
You, and then everybody else listening.
all of our closest friends.
We don't have any friends.
Oh no, that video too was to blue.
Oh,
And this
my
microphone
God.
says blue, so thanks, Tyler.
You're welcome.
Anyways, we will be back in studio tomorrow, talking about more stuff and things.
What a good segue. The only thing is, you want to know something that has not happened this episode that has happened every single time? My camera's still standing, and my green screen is still up.
Do you want me to
Punch through it.
Well, anyways, it's getting pretty bright out here. Looking at this beautiful sunset. So everybody have a nice night.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.